All of them start off the same, just more developed as it grows. All six of the wing or pterodactyl wing to be exact. Great. Remember, we cannot start off with because. That's just a thought. Okay? Another answer that I liked. All limbs are similar because of many years later, your limb starts to rotate and change to different forms. It all comes the same way, so you look at it as like different animals' body parts. I love what you're thinking, but please make sure you proofread before you click submit. And we all answer the question like I hope we would. All right, so can I get someone to come off of mute? And we're going to read our objective. Thanks for being on mute. I'm not right now. We're going to read our objective. Okay, I see Mari. Mari, go ahead.
Today we'll review the do now, examine and decode a human family tree and a cladogram, and identify common ancestor organisms identify common ancestors organisms have in common.
Wonderful. Thank you for participating. And can someone else come from me and read our objectives for today?
I want to read the objective.
I saw Mari's hand, and I'll ask you something else, Malik. Great. So we're going to look at a family tree. And once we look at those relationships, we're now going to see how does that relate to how organisms have relationships with each other. And I saw your hands. I put in other slides to read, so you are more than helpful in reading. So we already reviewed our do now. We should have the document open for investigation 2.1 from Google Classroom. When that is open, so let me know in the chat. Open there. Got you. It says 9:14 class notes. Make sure you open that document so we can get started with our notes today. Remember to tell me in the chat. There. Got you. Open and so on. Thanks, Algiers. All right, so you see the objective at the top, then it says focus question. The reason why it's first is to make sure that we are thinking through what we're doing today. So, how can a model help us understand the relationship between organisms? Once again, how can a model, think about the objective that we have at the top, help us understand the relationship between organisms? You're going to have 3 minutes to write, and I'll be checking as we are writing. Make sure it's complete sentences. We have 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Everyone should be writing, and I'm going to be checking what our progress is so far. think about it. We talked about, or we referenced the family tree, and you know how you can use a family tree to show relationships. Think about how using a model could help us show the relationship between organisms. Now, I did put a sentence starter in there, but when you write your final sentence, I should not see those 3 dots along with your final sentence. I should see a complete sentence. So, for example, if someone put down as their answer, a model can ... and continue writing, I would ask them to go back in and make sure it's a complete sentence without all those extra dots. Great, Malik. Make sure that's in your notes. So I'm checking. Some of us haven't even gotten started. I don't know what's going on. We have 43 seconds left. Good, Anthony. Got another sentence. Wonderful. Let's keep going. 20 seconds left. I don't understand that message, but okay. Great mind. We're going to see that today too. All right, that is our timer. Malik, can you come off of, I'm sorry, Anthony, can you come off mute and let your classmates know what you typed in for your response?
It was correct. It's just now I don't want
It was. That was a great answer, but you wrote down.
model help us understand the relationship between organisms by giving us pictures on how the bones look in the organism, or the family tree can be found out by the ages of each organism.
Good. That's what we're doing today. Maya, would you mind coming off mute and reading your response as well? Good. That's what we're doing today. Yes, Malik. Sanders.
I was asking if I could read mine.
Yes.
A model will show how similar two animal physical appearance are, and that shows us like if the animals are related or not.
Good. You did my notes. So that's what we're going to do today. Like spot on. Thank you for those of us who shared. So let's look at this family tree, right? We said a model like a family tree can show us who's related to what. So in that red circle is Alan's family tree. So if I was Alan, I'd be Alan in there and it says me. So what we're doing is looking at his relationship with each of his siblings, and we're going to answer the question. Does the physical distance between ovals indicate how closely they are related? So look at Alan, look at his other family members. Does the physical distance, how far apart they are, show the relationship, indicate how closely the family members are related? You can say yes or no in the chat, and we can discuss that. Malik says yes. Anyone else? Maya says no. Maya, why do you say no? Go ahead, Mr. Sanders.
Oh, you know.
You don't know?
I mean, cause it says like the grandma's the oldest, and then it goes down to her kids, and then it goes on her kids, so it goes down to his mom, and then it goes down to his brothers, and if they have kids, they have their own. His nieces and nephews.
Right, but we're looking at the ovals, and we're trying to see, does the distance between those ovals show how closely the family members are related?
Oh no.
Okay.
It doesn't show a timeline, that's why.
Well, great. Good. So that's what most of us should have said, which is no. And as he said, oh no, it doesn't show us how, like the time to say, okay, grandma was born at this age, or the ages of either, David and David and Alan, how close they're related. Great. All right, so let's look at the next question. Remember, these are all in your notes. This is like the orange section. So I should see, and when I look at your notes today, yes or no, and why. Next one. Does the diagram show who is older than others? Respond in the chat. Does the diagram show who's older than others? I like your answer, Kylie. I agree too. Let's see who else gonna say it. I'm gonna give y'all 10 more seconds to think. Does the diagram show who's older than others? Thank you for those of us who responded. Ooh, yes. Okay, great. Someone's already explained it. So, Kylie, if you don't mind, can you come off of mute and tell us why you said yes and no?
I said yes and no because you can tell that the grandmother is older because she is the mother of Alan's mom and his uncle. But then I said no also because his uncle has 2 kids and his brother has 2 kids, and his mom has 3, and you don't know who's older than who.
You look at my notes. Yes, wonderful. And everyone in the chat who has responded, you also the same thing. So please make sure you type those sentences or a sentence in that orange box on your paper. Great. So what you just did is you looked at the relationship between Alan and his family, and looking at the diagram, it doesn't show us how old a person is. But lucky for us, that's where we have a cladogram. It's going to show the relationship between different organisms based upon what they have in common. So before we get into that, we have to define some terms. In the chat, can you help me define what do you think a common ancestor is? We talked about our family tree. We talked about how the relationship between Alan and cousin, grandma, mother, uncle, auntie. Give me a great definition for common ancestor. Great. I think a common ancestor is like what type of relation they are and how many of them you have. Okay, good. A distant family member that connects you to someone else. By what? I feel you need a little bit more in that one.
By blood.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. All right. And don't worry, if you like definitions for you on the next slide. All right, next one. When one person is the ancestor. So look at my notes. Someone is in my notes because that is like almost what I had. When one person is the ancestor to more than one person.